But so there are Yankee race fans. I don't think people.
Well, there's more Yankee race fans than what there is actually down here. It's amazing. I mean, down here, they like Bowman Gray. Get them on the broader spectrum. Most people down here don't watch that Sprint Cup stuff on TV. Up there, you do watch it on TV because you don't see that kind of. We're too far away.
Yeah.
I actually drove around Lowe's Motor Speedway.
Nice.
That was fun.
You got what kind of car did you drive?
I drove the Martin Truex car.
Really?
Yeah. I did 143 miles an hour. Drove around Charlotte for 8 laps, and my first lap was like, my adrenaline level was.
Yeah, those things rattle, don't they?
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't the car. It was me.
Welcome back to Cork Caps and Taps, and we're here. We're going to drink some more wine and have some more beer with Mark Terry, the proprietor here at Cork Caps and Taps.
And today we're going to sample another wine and another beer. We have the wine that we chose today is Cellar Forted 201 Stainless Steel Chardonnay, and then we're going to do the ESB Extra Special Bitters from Asheville from Green Man Brewing.
Right on. Well, let's get a drink of wine, man, because I like my wine like I like my women, ready to pass out.
That was my glass.
Is that you?
Yes, that was mine.
Now this looks, the coloration's a little different than what we drank last week.
Yeah, it is a little lighter on the color. Stainless Chardonnay. It doesn't say what vintage it is, but it does have some unique flavors that the Viognier did not have from last week. And there was another question.
Well, how much does year matter? I mean, how much does the vintage matter?
That was what the listener asked us about. They were like, you're talking about different vintages and how important that is. It's how the season begins. We're going to go right from wintertime is when you prune your vines. You will prune all winter long. You want to wait until after your first really hard freeze, which this year we had some cold weather, as you know. We had more snow than we had in the past few years. That's when you start pruning. You prune all winter. If you look at a bud of a grapevine, it actually is covered with cotton protecting that bud for the growth. A bud of a vine is something you got to really find fascinating. The fruit inside the vine from last year is already planned for how much fruit you're going to get this year.
So you understand,
right?
know what your yields are.
You don't know. You don't know what it's going to throw. Depending on if you took care of your vines really well last year, will depend on how much fruit you're going to get this year. So you always be a year in advance.
Well, with our climate, unlike Southern California, where you're generally the same all the time, we're in the Piedmont, and because of the geography, it kind of creates some interesting climate things. So are these grapes tougher than what you get out there?
No, they're not tougher. It's just a matter of that they're just harder to maintain. Out there, you have very dry, steady temperature. Here we get heat, humidity, rain, humidity, and so we're fighting a lot of disease pressure through the year. There are some organic vineyards here in North Carolina. They're having a hard time because of the different weather that gets thrown at us. This year we had some cold weather. We had 28-degree weather early in the season. So you have wind machines running. You have people lighting fires on the
What happens when you're going through a period like right now? We're shooting this in early August, and you've had cold weather actually in the middle of August. Because I have plants at my house that are starting to act like it's winter time. It's fall.
Absolutely. Well, what happens is that your ripening is going to take longer. So now it moves the season longer, which is good because you got more days that your grapes are actually on the vine. What we really don't want to see is any tropical storms and hurricanes come in, bring in a lot of rain, brings the sugar counts down, then you have to wait for them to rise again.
But could these conditions create an interesting 2014 vintage?
So far, so good. I mean, again, after being here for 10 years and also doing this for 19 years up on the North Fork of Long Island, here you are, a little peninsula out in the middle of the ocean, and you really had to watch the weather a lot. And this year has been an exceptional year in North Carolina. And vines are tough, and so they can really take a lot of abuse. I mean, I've had salt water sprays on vines before, really detrimental to the vine, but they bounce back again.
Well, with this wine, what are we looking for when we do our swirl? What are we trying to say?
See, now, I've noticed you've been swirling the whole time.
Yeah, it's a habit now. You taught me.
See, now, you know the difference of the glass before as far as making a difference. Now we're getting into a little growth of as far as how the vines will grow. This one, they are out in East Bend.
Mm-hmm. Now this smells quite a bit different. I don't smell like in last week's where we had the apples and the more fruity smells, and I don't get that as much out of this.
You know, this is. People say, "Oh man, that wine smells like leather. That smells like tobacco. It smells like cigar box." That's not added to the grape. It's actually from the fruit itself when it was picked. If we didn't have adjectives to compare the wine to, we could just sit here and say, "Wow, that's a grapey wine."
Yeah, let's do our thing.
That's grapey.
Yeah.
What more can you say? You have to put it to something that you're more familiar with.
Sensually you can connect to.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what are you
I mean,
smelling?
this one is a really nice smelling.
You have a better palate, so what are you smelling here?
I'm smelling a little bit of a ripe peach. Mm-hmm. You got some. Go ahead. You throw one out at me.
It's not as fruity. I mean, I'm smelling.
You got a little apricot.
Yeah, and it's almost nutty. There's an element of that. There's an element.
Agree.
I'm just looking for a word, but
that's
nutty,
very good.
Yeah.
I mean, this is actually stainless steel. Stainless steel means that it was when it was picked, got harvested, went into a stainless steel tank, got fermented, aged in a stainless steel tank until it finally went into the bottle. Wow. With no oak on it at all. It means it never had any oak aging. Makes it very clean and crisp and just a really nice summer wine. And this is perfect on a patio. People also ask, like, what would we, our listeners ask what we would be pairing this wine with. Light cheeses, fruit trays, even a little bit of light salad with some nice vinaigrette.
Yeah.
Another is also acidic.
Yeah, and I've learned what you taught us last week about breathing in while you're doing it. It really opens it up, but it is a little more acidic. It's a very different taste. This is delicious, and it's kind of a clean taste.
Absolutely. Well, that comes in from the stainless. The stainless is really done very well.
Is that stainless aging also why it doesn't have the color? Because the other
no, that just had to do with probably the vintage as well.
Oh, right on. We learned a lot, man.
Yeah, we did. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
There you go. Finish it again. Right on.
I think one of the things that people really like about the way that we deliver news and information is it feels like a friend is telling you something. One of the goals of CCD has been to create something that had a feel like it was an old hometown newspaper, that when you picked it up you knew exactly what was going on in the community down to the street level, talking about people in the community and events and things and stuff that's happening in your own backyard.
Okay, Chad, here is our Green Man Extra Special Bitters. ESBs. So they say.
And what does that mean?
Well, it's pretty much of an English style. In British, it's actually known as like a pale ale. Mm-hmm. Here we would call it a pale ale in America. There they'll call it a special bitter, a great bitter, or it was really odd that it just didn't follow the pale ale. It actually comes from it's more amber color. Mm-hmm. The grain that gets used is more of the 2-row. This gets a little beer technical. There is 2-row and there is 6-row grain. That means that when it was planted in a 2-row system, not having a 6-row. 6-row is mainly used right now for feed for cows and so on. But the 2-row is actually more energy goes to the 2 rows of barley. It isn't like you go to a field and just see 2 rows. It's just a matter of they're close together, but they actually planted in 2 rows. And
that does affect the quality.
And that does affect the quality of it. You get more alpha acids, you get more sugar extracted out of it, because the sugar that you get from alcohol, it isn't added sugar like you get from the store. It's actually sugar that came from inside the grain.
Right on. And what should we be looking for in this?
Well, I mean, sometimes you drink a beer. If you actually taste the beer before it actually ferments, it actually tastes like Cheerios. Like the bottom of a bowl where you get that grain and it has that flavor. That's what...
When your mom made you do it because you don't want to waste it.
That's actually called the wort at that point, where you just extracted the sugar before fermentation happens, which then becomes the fine beer that it is. It's pretty outstanding as far as I had a person here the last, 2 nights ago. It was absolutely amazing on how, I said to Lillian's my partner, as you know, how you add yeast to grapes and you ferment it and you barrel age it and you bottle it. Beer is completely different. Oh, let's boil it with this. Let's boil this temperature. Let's add this and let's add that. No, it's so much more complex as far as when you're making a.
Is there more of an opportunity for improvisation in making it? I mean, like they can experiment.
Oh, they can experiment a lot. They can experiment until the end of time. I mean, the choice of hops that they use, the choice of grain that they use, because grain comes from all over the world, as well as even when the grain and hops was harvested, all that makes a difference.
All that affects the flavor.
Yes, you want to actually know when your hops was harvested. Best to use them within 24 hours, like a lot of the places in North Carolina. Mm-hmm. They find some local hop farms. They're not hop yards, or they are hop farms.
And Mark, what are we looking for in the flavor of the Green Man today?
Well, I mean, this is extra special bitters, and there is difference of grain. Mm-hmm. And there's a 2-row and 6-row, and I'm not sure really which one this is, but it's made really exceptionally well. As I mentioned to you a little while ago about the cereal, I actually picked that up a little bit in here. Have you noticed after I mentioned
there is a
you notice like the oat, but
mm-hmm.
it's actually barley, but you actually get that grain.
That's what provides that taste to it, yeah.
I mean, don't start moving your jaw like you were a cow or something, mm-hmm. like, chomping,
But yeah, and this one is very, it is. It does have that grainy, that real hoppy taste to it. And I can kind of catch the bitters in there too, which makes it has like a nice finish.
We actually went to Asheville, and we were walking around Asheville, and next thing we stumbled. We walked into
Green Man. You stumble out.
Yeah, I stumbled in. It was dark, and they have a cement step out front. I tripped in, and I tripped out. But they actually we tried all the different beers there, but the ESB is really special, and it really has a nice flavor to it. It's smooth. Mm-hmm. It's 5.3% alcohol, so it's less than what we had last week, but it just has it's thinner, so it doesn't have that full bodiness that the other one had, that we had last week, was 7.3, but it is a very nice,
But we're really doing some nice work here in North Carolina. I mean, it's a world-class beer. This isn't like, just some local yokel thing. This is competing on a national level.
Best thing to do.
Yeah.
Plan a weekend, go to Asheville, go tour. There's numerous breweries popping up all over Asheville. I mean, even Sierra Nevada is coming to Asheville.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest growth businesses in North Carolina are brewing.
Absolutely. Fun time.
Yeah,
absolutely. Enjoy this beer. I want to see what you did before. Can't do it. Okay, good.
It's really good. It's really good. I like it.
It is.
But it does have a good finish. That is, in all seriousnest, that has a good finish.
I got to bring out a trophy that we can just sit here and just.
Yeah, I'll drink out of a goblet.
There you go.
I'll be like,
I'll show you next time.
Give me a turkey leg and a trophy, and we'll drink.
Yeah. All right. Sound like a plan. Sound like a plan.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for putting up with us for another week. And Mark, what we got coming up next week?
Well, since we finished
the Green Man.
The Green Man, yes, thank you. Next week we're going to move to the Shelton Riesling out of the Yadkin Valley, and we're going to do Oscar Blues Brewery out of Brevard, which is right on the Tennessee border of North Carolina, and let's see what it's all about. It's Mama's Little Yellow Pills.
I like the idea of it, and please keep tuning in the CCD TV YouTube channel. You can subscribe right here, and we'll be back next week with more from Corks, Caps, and Taps at 626 West 4th Street in downtown Winston-Salem. Stop by and tell Mark hi this week. Thank you very much.
Come visit.
Right on.